The JSE looks set to contend with mixed global trade today, but is still on track for a good week as investors mull just how aggressive the US Federal Reserve will be in fighting inflation. Locally, we're waiting to see if the market flinched at all at the back of last night's State of the Nation address. Rella Suskin, head of research at Benguela Global Fund Managers, joins us now to talk through the latest business and market developments. Very good morning. It's the morning after the State of the Nation address. At first glance, has there been any immediate reaction to what the President had to say last night?
Good morning. I think as you said correctly, I think the market is more focused on the news from the US and that extraordinarily high inflation number that came through for January. So it doesn't seem like there's too much reaction to Ramaphosa's speech. The Rand reacted slightly negatively early in this morning when Asia woke up, but it seems to be just slightly weaker than it was before his speech. So not much change there. Looking at stocks that may have reacted, it could have been some of the construction stocks, as Ramaphosa did speak about infrastructure spend. But again, that hasn't come through this morning. So all eyes really focused on US news.
Now, gold prices are holding steady, on track for weekly gain, while oil slipped as US-Iran talks progress. Talk us through those developments.
Oh, so the US and Iran have started indirectly talking again regarding the nuclear pact. So Iran exited the pact in 2018. And from there, Donald Trump put sanctions against the exporting of Iranian oil. Iran was producing about 2.5 million barrels a day pre these sanctions. And currently they're sitting at about 1 million barrels a day. So there's hope that with these talks between Iran and the US continuing, we might see supply increase from Iran in a time where there's concerns around oil supply in other parts of the world. So the US certainly has the incentive for oil supply to increase, as it is one of the main driving factors pushing their inflation higher.
Now let's move to company news. Anglo Platinum published a trading statement for the 12 months ended at 31 December 2021. How did they fare?
Yeah, so their trading statement actually came out slightly ahead of expectations. They're guiding for headline earnings per share to increase between 146 and 166%. The market was looking for about 140% increase, so relatively in line, but the stock is performing well this morning on open, so certainly beating expectations. The main drivers behind that very strong performance year on year is certainly the higher PGM prices were up 22%, but mainly it's driven by the increase in sales volumes, which are up 82%. And this is as Amplats works through, they had large stockpiles of work in process inventory, given that one of their processing units was down last year. So they're certainly working through that, and it's driving results higher.
And finally, it looks like Bioworld is continuing on its recovery trajectory. Talk us through those numbers.
So it's another one of the companies that's really benefiting from the commodity boom. Bioworld is the sole distributor of CAT equipment in Southern Africa region, as well as Russia and other parts of Eurasia. So whenever you get these high commodity prices, you've got bigger cash flows coming from the mining companies, and they're investing in new equipment. So their Southern Africa equipment business did very well. They're exposed to the likes of copper and oil in some of the other African countries, which we've seen skyrocket. Also, Russia has done exceptionally well despite the geopolitical tension occurring in the country. And then the other part of the Bioworld business is their car rental business and used vehicle sales. And we've seen a nice recovery there coming out of the COVID environment with things starting to normalize. They're also benefiting from the lack of new cars being available globally. So we're seeing prices of second-hand vehicles going up, and they're benefiting from that as well.
Rella Suskin, head of research at Benguela Global Fund Managers, thank you for that update this morning.